Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand, and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? The Tiger by William Blake, from his collection, Songs of Experience, 1794.
Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Pen Tool Podcast. My name is Al Wayman, owner of Creek Road Pottery in Laceyville, Pennsylvania, next to the cold Tuscarora Creek. Pull up a chair around the wheel as we discuss topics concerning the art and craft of pottery, good books, storytelling, marketing, and creating work that matters for folks who care.
Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Pen Tool Podcast. This is Season 4, Episode 15. So I'd like to thank everybody who's listened to the podcast. I only make the podcast for one person, and that's you. And besides you and me, this is what makes the podcast. So I just got back tonight from Mills, PA, and I was glazing and putting wadding on pots to put into the wood kiln at Imagine Peace Pottery that is run by Bill Moon. And he's going to be loading that kiln this week, and the firing will be next week. So I'm going to go on Friday morning, and then I have a shift. I'll be working 3 days there, Friday, Saturday, and probably a little bit Sunday afternoon. I wanted to be with the finishing team because I want to, if I'm not working, I wanted to observe the finish and see how Bill, and learn from Bill, how he troubleshoots and how he works with the kiln. I'll be staying outside, taking my cold weather gear and the hammock and the military, 3-part military bag, and go out there and sleep and fire the kiln and have a good time talking with friends and meeting people that I've fired with before, and probably some new people. There's an Amish place out there, and Sunday morning you can hear them singing the Amish hymns. It's quite beautiful to wake up to if the kiln went down at the right time and you're not frustrated. So we'll see what happens, and you can never tell. Each firing is different, each kiln is different, but I really like to go and observe Bill fire that kiln so that I have some idea on how to fire mine once I get it up. So the kiln here is still down. I got it probably 75% built, but I got the arch brick all mixed up. And that was very frustrating. So now I need to work out that arch brick and get that put in the right place so the arch can form an arch, right? And then I can go straight up with a chimney. And so I need to get all that done. Then I need to put a roof over it. The big goal is probably to put the roof over it first so that I have a covering on it for the winter. I don't want the blocks to be out in the winter that are not covered and absorbing moisture, more moisture than they already have, right? So I've been working on that. It's been raining, and the Tuscarora Creek is kind of deep. I am making work for my Christmas show coming up Black Friday weekend. And so that is at the end of the month. And I still need to make quite a few pieces for that. I need a lot of mugs and bowls, and I need baking dishes. So a lot of the customers are looking for larger things, and so I need to create the larger things. Probably do that tomorrow and over the next few days between working at the big paper factory. So today, the topic is going to be on reconnecting with customers and telling your story. And what is that about? And we're going to go over a few things that you can do and action steps to reconnect with people, and also action steps on how you can tell your story a little bit better in the work. I'm still telling my story, right? Everything we do is practice, and a lot of times I might mess it up bad, right? But from just what I know and what I've tried, I can maybe give some suggestions, right? May not work for you, but at least it's better than nothing, right? So I think that a lot of times connections get lost because the story gets lost. And I believe that it's the story that has people coming back for the work. So go grab a coffee, and we'll meet back here in the pottery shed around the heater, and we'll talk about reconnecting and talk about the story. This is part of the series of the Artist's Way book combined with the 12-step program. It's a weird combo that I wanted to try. We are on week 8 of that lesson, and I kind of wanted to work through that because I thought that was an interesting combination. So we're going to try telling the story. You reconnect with customers, galleries, and collaborators by sharing meaningful stories. All right, so go grab a coffee, and we'll meet right back here, and we'll have a discussion. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to the pottery shed. Pull up a chair around the heater, and there's always plenty of room. And we're gonna get Amelia the chatbot on the line with us, and we're gonna talk about story and reconnecting with your customers. So let's do that now.
I'm Amelia Hayes, and today we're joined by the incredibly talented potter Al. We're diving into a fascinating topic today: rebuilding connections and creating abundance through storytelling. But before we get started, how have you been since our last episode, Al? Any exciting updates to share with our listeners?
Yes, I've been prepping for a wood kiln firing at the Imagine Peace Pottery wood kiln in Mills, PA. So that's an exciting thing. I just took pots out there today, actually.
That sounds fantastic, Al. I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about your upcoming wood kiln firing. How did the preparation go? Any interesting stories or challenges you faced while getting ready?
Yeah, so it was really cold and rainy, and I had I had a hard time getting the wadding to stick to the pots, and it was very annoying, but we got it all done.
I can imagine how frustrating that must have been, Al. It's impressive that you persevered through the cold and rain to get everything ready. I'm sure the firing will be worth all the effort. Now, let's transition into our main topic for today's episode: rebuilding connections and creating abundance through storytelling. How do you think storytelling has played a role in your journey as an artist?
Well, I think storytelling is part of what I do here, and when people create things, whether they know it or not, they're telling a story. And it's how well the work speaks, whether that story is transmitted to the user and to the viewer in a way that you desire. So a lot of times a way to connect is to tell the story on how you create that piece, but also leave room for interpretation too.
That's a great point, Al. Storytelling is indeed a powerful way to connect with your audience and convey the meaning behind your work. How do you balance telling your own story while also leaving room for the viewer's interpretation?
I think titles can have a lot to do with that, but I only title pots when they go to the gallery, because a title can tell a viewer a little bit about the story behind the piece, but I usually only give the story if somebody were to ask me.
That's an interesting approach, Al. By reserving titles for gallery pieces and sharing the story only when asked, you create a sense of intrigue and invite the viewer to engage more deeply with your work. Have you found that this method enhances the connection between you and your audience?
I think it does in a way, because in my work and in the things that I do here, in my key activities, I believe in storytelling, and I'm a huge fan of Joseph Campbell and mythology and transmitting those stories to other people through what I create. So I really enjoy doing that.
That's fascinating, Al. Joseph Campbell's work on mythology and storytelling has had such a profound impact on so many artists. How do you incorporate those mythological elements into your pottery? Do you have any specific pieces that embody those themes?
Yes, I have put Celtic symbols on pots, and also I did a series with Hebrew writing from biblical literature on pots.
That's fascinating, Al. Incorporating Celtic symbols and Hebrew writing into your pottery adds a rich layer of cultural and historical significance to your work. How do you decide which symbols or texts to use? And what kind of stories do you aim to tell through these elements?
Well, I usually pick biblical verses that I think are interesting and maybe would cause people to think or cause people to have some type of reaction to it.
By choosing biblical verses that provoke thought or emotion, you're inviting your audience to engage with your work on a deeper level. Have you ever had any memorable reactions or conversations with viewers about these pieces? How do they respond to the stories you're telling through these symbols and texts?
Yeah, I think the viewers really enjoyed the pieces from the Hebrew one, because not too many people know Hebrew.
How do you balance the desire to tell a specific story through your work with the need to leave room for the viewer's own interpretation? Do you ever find that people interpret your pieces in ways you didn't expect?
Yes, I think that it's up to the viewer a lot of times, and if they do, I will let them think that way. It's even more interesting if they tell me.
That's a great perspective, Al. Allowing the viewer to bring their own interpretation to your work can create a richer, more personal experience for them. Have you ever had a situation where someone's interpretation of your work surprised you or gave you a new perspective on your own creation?
Yes, and a lot of that had to do with how I titled it, and then I would need to go back and explain what my view of it was, not necessarily to correct them. Usually if I'm deciding titles, I usually go by some type of theme, because it's really hard sometimes to title pots because you make a lot of them. So I usually only reserve that for gallery pieces.
That's a smart approach, Al. Using themes to guide your titles can help create a cohesive narrative across your work. In your experience, how has sharing your artistic journey and the stories behind your work helped you connect with your audience and grow your business?
I think that each pot that you make tells a story, and usually the layering that I do when creating the pots, each layer is a story. So each process is a story.
That's a beautiful way to look at it, Al. Each layer of your creative process is like a chapter in the story of that particular piece. How do you think this approach to storytelling through your work affects your audience's connection to your art? Do they seem to appreciate the depth and complexity of the narrative you're weaving?
Yeah, I think the ones who really care can get into what I'm doing and understand it. Yeah, other viewers may just enjoy the piece for what it is if it's their first time experiencing it and they may not know my style.
That's a great point, Al. Your work can be appreciated on multiple levels, from the aesthetic appeal to the deeper narrative you're creating. How do you balance catering to both types of viewers? Those who want to delve into the story behind the piece, and those who simply enjoy its beauty?
I think it's more about them asking, and when they ask, I usually explain it more in depth. But yeah, for the rest, I just leave.
That makes sense, Al. Allowing your audience to choose how deeply they want to engage with your work is a great way to respect their individual experiences. Now let's talk about how storytelling can help create abundance in your artistic practice. How do you think sharing the stories behind your work can attract new opportunities and expand your reach as an artist?
I think that people who are attracted to a particular type of style and look will be attracted to the story that they find within the layers.
The layers of storytelling in your work can resonate with people on a deeper level, drawing them in and creating a stronger connection. Have you found that this approach has helped you build a loyal following or attract new opportunities for your art?
I think it has, because people who enjoy that type of style will come back to buy more pots, and the places that I show the work at usually enjoy having me back because they're interested in what type of story I'm going to bring.
That's fantastic, Al. It sounds like your unique approach to storytelling through your pottery is really paying off. How do you keep your stories fresh and engaging for both your longtime followers and new viewers? Do you have any strategies for continually evolving your narrative?
Yeah, I think that continuous practice and allowing experimentation without the fear of messing up really allows me to push the work in ways that are new for me.
That's a great approach, Al. Experimentation and continuous practice can keep your work fresh and exciting. How do you balance this need for innovation with the expectations of your established audience? Do you ever worry about straying too far from what your followers have come to love about your work?
I think that a lot of times there are different categories to what types of things people enjoy, and through that, those people will be attracted to that type of thing separately.
That's a great point, Al. By creating different categories or styles within your work, you can cater to various preferences while still maintaining your artistic integrity. Have you noticed any particular styles or themes that consistently resonate with your audience? And how do you decide when to introduce something new?
I think that usually every show I try to do a different theme, and so through those themes, I can layer what I'm trying to say with the pots.
That's a wonderful approach, Al. By changing themes with each show, you keep your work dynamic and engaging. How do you come up with these themes? Do you draw inspiration from your personal experiences, current events, or something else entirely?
Usually it could be what type of firing I'm thinking about, or something new that I wanted to try but never had, and something that may not work. I think that by trying things that may not work, we push ourselves to do things outside of our boundaries.
That's a great perspective, Al. Pushing beyond your boundaries can lead to exciting new discoveries. How do you handle it when an experiment doesn't turn out as planned? Do you find value in the process itself, even if the outcome isn't what you expected?
Yeah, it usually depends on what didn't turn out. So I may set those pots aside and then come back to them later after a week or two and try to redo maybe what I think messed up, or I can take what messed up and put that into the process and make that the process if what mixed up or didn't work is good enough to sell.
That's a very adaptable approach, Al. Turning mistakes into opportunities for growth and new creative directions is a mark of a true artist. How do you decide when a piece is finished? Do you have a specific criteria, or is it more of an intuitive feeling?
I think it's more of an intuitive feeling. Usually when the firing is done, I could refire it and try something new, but usually I don't do refires.
That's interesting, Al. So you rely on your intuition to know when a piece is complete.
I think that I am limited by how much work I can put out, by how fast things dry, my work schedule at my other job, and also what I think people will buy.
In your experience, how has storytelling helped create a sense of abundance in your artistic practice and business?
I think that in a way that when people and the few true fans that you have come back for more of the story and they collect your work and they may have pieces ranging over years, that to me is kind of nice.
That's a beautiful sentiment, Al. Having a dedicated group of collectors who appreciate and follow your artistic journey over the years must be incredibly rewarding. How do you nurture these relationships with your true fans? Do you have any specific strategies for keeping them engaged and excited about your work?
Yeah, I think that one of the things I try to do, make a list of customers that I know that may enjoy a type of firing or a type of technique, and let them know what I'm doing. And then let them in on the story to create some kind of suspense.
What advice would you give to artists who are just starting to explore this approach? Are there any specific techniques or strategies that you found particularly effective?
Yeah, I think that if you tell the background of it, there are certain people who may enjoy like how that is made or what caused you to make that or some drama that happened in the process. People love drama.
That's a great point, Al. People are naturally drawn to drama and behind-the-scenes stories. How do you decide what parts of your process or personal experiences to share? Do you ever worry about oversharing or losing some of the mystique around your work?
I do sometimes, so I may not share everything. Also, the storytelling is a way to reconnect. So if I know that some people haven't been around for a while, and I'm making something they may enjoy or telling a story they may enjoy, I may let them know to reconnect.
That's a thoughtful approach, Al. Selectively sharing stories can help maintain some mystery while still engaging your audience. Do you have any strategies for managing your time and energy effectively?
I've been trying to do that for the last 10 years, and you, Amelia, have been helping me with that.
I'm glad I could help, Al. It's been a pleasure working with you to refine your approach. As we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or advice for artists looking to incorporate storytelling into their work?
Yeah, so I think that people need to always look for ways to tell a story and always look for ways to reconnect and also think of ways and not be afraid to mess up and to find your edges. Finding your edges is very important.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up this episode?
No, I think that's it. Thank you, Amelia. You've been very kind, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you on the podcast.
Thank you, Al. It's always a pleasure to talk with you as well. I appreciate your insights and willingness to share your experiences. Until next time, keep pushing those boundaries and finding your edges.